change is here. Today, CBS News Radio signs off after nearly 100 years on air. It will go silent while Netflix gives another radio show a live voice. Netflix is getting ready to debut The Breakfast Club as its first daily live streaming show. If you work in the industry or you're a professional navigating new media, you should be paying close attention to what this all means. This is Think Like a Producer, an on-cam-ready presentation. I'm Jamie Maglietta. I spent more than 20 years producing television news at CNN, Fox News Channel, and across national media. And what we're watching right now is the redistribution of attention. Think about it for a second. CBS News Radio, one of the most historic institutions in American broadcasting, is going silent after nearly a century. Meanwhile, Netflix, one of the largest streaming companies in the world, is betting on a live radio show, not a scripted drama, not a sitcom, a personality-driven conversation format show around culture with interviews, audience connection, and daily engagement. That should tell you everything. The audience didn't disappear. The audience moved. From decades, institutions controlled visibility. Networks, newsrooms, radio stations, publishers. If you wanted to become known, someone had to hand you the mic. Now, that microphone is everywhere. Your phones became studios. Podcasts have become networks, YouTube channels, media companies. And now legacy organizations are adapting a mobile-first viewing behavior. NBC News announced a vertical video subscription strategy designed specifically for phones and mobile consumption. Why? People no longer gather around one screen in one room at the same time every day. Media now follows the audience. What Netflix understands is something producers have known forever. People return for personalities, connection, point of view, consistency. That's why The Breakfast Club works. It's not just interviews, it's format, chemistry, rhythm, audience familiarity, culture, authority, and honestly, this is why so many journalists, executives, and experts have now become creators, because the future belongs to people. And now, as professionals, as someone like yourself, you just need to make sure you are owning your voice. And now, people like you need to be thinking like a producer and creating like a journalist. Everyone can be a journalist right now. But practically no, because you don't have the training. But there are ways to become more journalistic. This is exactly why I teach professionals to think like producers. And that's exactly why I started this podcast and YouTube series. This started as a YouTube series. I was reviewing YouTube podcasts and helping people just figure out how to turn their ideas into a show. And now today I am revved up, if you cannot tell by the energy I'm bringing this conversation, because this is a bonus episode. It's a bonus episode because I saw so much change happening and I needed you to hear it. This is all happening as a result of evolution, media reconstructing itself to adapt to what you want and what you need. You're being handed the mic. Are you going to take it? Not every expert has to think about this, positioning, discoverability, hooks, audience retention, framing, consistency, storytelling, digital presence. But those who do are going to win online. The professionals who adapt to this shift are going to grow. The ones waiting for permission from those traditional gatekeepers are going to struggle. The end of CBS News Radio is emotional for many people in the industry. It represents legacy, history, trust, American broadcasting. But the Netflix announcement matters too, because together, these headlines tell a bigger story. Media is moving from institutional distribution to personality-driven platforms. And the professionals who learn how to package their expertise clearly will have the advantage. Visibility today is not about waiting to be discovered. It's about learning how to communicate strategically in the environments where attention now lives. That's why I created the Visibility Program, to help you and other experts navigate new media. Turn your thought leadership into content so you can stay visible, so you can stay top of mind. You need to be programming your social media like your own media channel to get ahead, to gain clients, to build an audience and potentially attract the media yourself. If you're trying to build your visibility, you need to be strategic. You know what else this says? We've been having this conversation here and on other shows. I just was on a podcast earlier this week. It'll be on Girls Get Rich. You need to listen to that podcast. And we talked about new media and the evolution of podcasting and how video first podcasts are performing well. Right now, over 50% of podcasts on YouTube are video podcasts. And 3/4 of publishers, according to Reuters Institute, are encouraging their journalists to think and act like creators. And newsrooms since 2005 have seen more than 266,000 jobs shed. I'm just going to say this. I have a whole other episode on this, but I'm going to bring it up here. All those people in media without jobs could be your go-to sources if you're trying to build a YouTube channel, a podcast, or a social media strategy. I help my clients with their social media strategy and turning their thought leadership into content. I build it out. I write their scripts. I tell them what to say. They tweak it. But I do that for my select clients. And it is something more, if you're in the media, more of us should be thinking about doing. And I will say this, while all this evolution is changing, while everybody is kind of unsure where to go, who to trust, just know there's also a flood of journalists heading to Substack, heading to YouTube, showing up in all these new media spaces because they see the audience is there. So if they see it and they're desiring to build a brand there, you should be too. And you can. You can. I spent so many years at CNN. And I loved all my time there. I still freelance as of this recording. And I also loved my time at Fox News Channel. And I have to say, it's sad to see the ratings dipping, but CNN is not in a crisis. I think it's in a moment of transformation, just like all these other media outlets. You just need to be reading the tea leaves. More people are in the scroll, more people are online. I've said this on other episodes, but more people watched YouTube in their homes than any other streaming platform. So being on camera is no longer optional. It's no longer optional. And you really need to be relevant to earn media. So if you aren't leaning into new media, you're limiting how many people are going to see you as relevant. As I mentioned, I spent 20 plus years in television news, MSNBC, Fox News Channel, CNN. I watched this landscape shift. And now I help professionals package themselves for press, for new media, to turn their thought leadership into strategic ideas that will help them expand their personal brand and their digital footprint strategically so they can attract more clients and potentially earn press. You don't want to pitch the press until you're ready. I have a framework that I've shared in little pieces here and there on different podcasts, and I want to make sure I have it here too. It's called the Known framework. Known leads into my Produce framework, which leads into my Bookable framework. I also have a book on Amazon, by the way, called The Visibility Program. So if you are feeling like you don't know how to show up, you don't want to waste time trying to do it right, I hope you're here because this is what I'm here for. I'm here to help you, to guide you, to limit how much time you spend packaging yourself right, and to help you do it effectively. Known is know your message, nurture your presence, own your story, and widen your reach, then nail those moments. And I go through all of those in my program to help you. The media is changing. Clarity is not a marketing tool. It is your booking strategy. And you need to keep that in mind. And as we see more and more changes, it's only telling us where to put our attention. if we're not already there. But I will say this, while CBS News Radio is pulled away, there are a few podcasts that are now leaning into the radio feeds. I actually had a conversation at PodFest where there are radio stations looking for podcasts to air, to fill their time, to fill their channel. So you have to think like, okay, well, they may be shifting their money away from producing out shows on a regular basis. They're still looking for content because people still listen to the radio. And while more podcasts are like The Breakfast Club with a video component, you need to also take that as a sign. When you ask, should I have an audio podcast or a video podcast? I think that tells you your answer. Plus, social media. You want to make sure that you can nurture your presence, and you need to be showing up and owning your story in all of the places that people are consuming news, consuming information, looking for value. And then you need to widen your reach. As you start building out and say you're like, okay, I really want to launch a podcast. Maybe before you do, you start appearing on other podcasts, testing the water with your point of view. And whenever you have those appearances, you're nailing the moments so that media can attract media. Relevance earns you media, but media helps you earn more media. All right, guys, that is my rant for this bonus episode. I saw all the headlines and I had to hop on here. I really hope that you're enjoying this podcast, this YouTube series. If you are, I hope you follow this on your podcasting platform of choice or subscribe to the YouTube channel where I offer tutorials. Lots of them right now. I just dropped one this week on how to record yourself on camera. Guys, head over to YouTube and find me on Instagram, Jamie_Maglietta. I'll see you. Bye.